of silence.
Hello and welcome to the da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, let's do the little bit of silence. So,
maybe you want to shut that window.
Oh, crap, Tracy. Bunches of crap. Tons and tons of crap.
We're good.
Hey, we're fine. We're all good.
Right.
hello and welcome to the Geometricoctopus podcast with
Cosmo.
Jackie
Tracy.
and
Kyle.
Well, we tried.
It's Cosmo, Jackie, Tracy, and Con.
and Con.
By the way, I bleeped that out.
I heard Con.
We should use that.
First said Con.
Okay.
You know who
Stop
it
talking
is.
because I didn't know who
You
was
already
talking.
know who it is.
Oh, wait. Yeah,
Welcome to the Geometricoctopus podcast. We built this podcast with our
Welcome back, beloved listeners, to another installment of our Gender and Sexuality miniseries. My name is Kyle, and I hope you enjoy the discussions to come. We promise that your ears will be spared from this series soon enough. Maybe. Trigger warnings for this episode include homophobia, transphobia, and violence towards people of the LGBT community. Please be a responsible listener. We will be taking a deeper dive into gender expression, so join us for a swim along with episode 10, Gender, Expectation, Presentation.
Hey, Macarena.
Yeah.
Hi.
I'm gonna definitely use that as like the cold opening. Where Kyle's just like, Ka.
Ka.
By
Ka.
the people of
So
this
we've got some new nicknames going on. Okay.
And Ka. Kyle.
Ka and Claw.
Kla.
We've got Ka and Claw.
Wow.
Okay. More silence and let's just re-begin that.
Ka. Claw. Caw. Jaw.
Are we supposed to be doing the silence?
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay. A moment of silence. Hello and welcome to the Geometricoctopus podcast with
Cosmo.
Jackie
Tracy.
and
Kyle.
with today's special guest, still featuring
Klaus, I'm still here. I know it's exhausting for me too.
You know, I really don't think at this point we get to call you a special guest. I think you're just kind of a feature of the show.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we'll call you back and we'll get your opinion on everything we ever do.
Yeah.
I'll do your show notes.
We're gonna
or something.
gradually get more and more people until we have like 30 people all speaking into the microphone at the same time.
We've got to acquire you, everyone.
We're gonna have to start having entry stuff for just like, if you're gonna show up, you need to bring your own microphone and your own splitter and your own computer and record everything separately.
That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
honestly,
aiming
work
for
better.
we're aiming for doing the entire school at the same time. The entire town. So anyway, I think we should probably get started. So,
Yeah.
Cosmo, what are we going to be talking about first? Actually, I think I already have a clue of what we should be talking about first. So, by the way, I don't believe I've already mentioned this. So, I have changed my name. I now go by Jacqueline or Jackie because, you know, I'm French and that's a much Frenchier name. 'Tis I, the Frenchiest fry.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, so I now go by Jackie, and I think it's a much better name, and that's it.
Alright, that's
Yeah.
it.
All right.
Bonjour, Jackie.
Bonjour.
I think we have
Yeah.
our French. Or you have to fight our French audience to find out who's actually the most French.
Oh my goodness.
The French games, you know.
We've got Canadian, Frenchish, amazingness. Klaus.
French Canadian.
I
is
am just generic, mixed up white people, you know. We don't know where we're from. We don't have a culture, and we're stuck here anyway.
Yeah.
okay. So
Sadly.
if I can say, so I was at Orkable over the weekend. I was at Orkable yesterday, and they had us fill out a survey. So number one, first thing on the survey is they have you do your gender, and it's a drop-down menu, and it's, are you male, female, or transgender?
Oh, it's so terrible. I've seen that actually. I've seen that.
They ask you
Oh
like
my god.
at least like just put an other category.
That would have been less insulting.
Because an other category implies that, you know, you're talking about non-binary people, which is great. When you say transgender, you're implying that binary trans women and binary trans men aren't actual men or aren't actual women, and that's just, you know, a little bit like, yeah.
That shouldn't be all that. That's the bare minimum is not doing that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest. But, you know,
I
what
think-
can you do? Oh,
Yeah.
also, beyond that, when they asked your ethnicity, they said, are you white American, African American, Asian American? Then I think there was also Native American, and then they had Pacific Islander. But for most of the things, they said, are you blank ethnicity, with then after that immediately followed by American. And my issue is, well, I am white, I am not American.
Yeah, that's. Huh.
So I had a bit of a difficulty there trying to fill that. I ended up just going white because, you know, I'm white as shit.
It's semantics, but it's
It's
like
semantics,
weird
but
semantics.
it's still like, that's like the Americans who go to other countries, like go to Canada or go to Britain or go to Australia and call black people in Canada or Britain or Australia African American. Because they do that.
How ethnocentric do you have to be?
That's hilarious.
Oh, it's terrible.
If anything, I guess you could just say, "Oh yeah, the black,"
It-
because they're probably fine with that.
they are for the most part, people are okay
Jeez.
with somebody saying, "Oh yes, that person is black," as opposed to saying that person is African American. I understand that there are some people who are uncomfortable with that, but if somebody's uncomfortable with that, they will probably tell you, and you apologize, and you call them whatever they would prefer to be called, because that's how you be a decent human being.
Again, not our division, but at the same time, it's like, why are white people like this? Why are we like this? Why do we do this as a race? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wow, we're giving many lessons in how to be decent human beings.
Yeah.
Like, other white people, we as a group need to get it together. Come on.
Yeah, I know. I was watching some things that a lot of white people think they're being attacked when people say things like that, and it's just like, well, I mean, first of all, realize that you have a privilege in the fact that you're ignorant anyways, so...
Just chill the fuck out.
By the way, recently, remember, I was listening to one of our past episodes, and Jackie said, that's not really our division because we're pretty much all white. We're probably like 90% white, if not more, so, or something like that, right?
Oh.
And I figured it out. So if all
I
of
was
you
wrong.
are 100% white,
Yeah.
then, and I'm 25% not white, we are 95% white.
We're 95% white
95%
collectively. Amazing.
white.
Collectively 95% white. Well, no.
And that includes Klaus and Kyle and everyone here, so isn't that awesome? A whole lot of white going on.
It's only 5% our business and 95% not.
Oh god, one of the things that I don't believe that I've heard this anywhere before. If I'm wrong and if I am quoting somebody else, I would like to apologize. I don't remember having heard this anywhere else before, so I think I may have come up with it. One of the things that you see at rodeo shows, because a lot of my family are very much into sort of like redneck horses and shit. It's true. I mean, not redneck, but like they're really into horses and rodeo shows and stuff. And one of the things that you see at rodeos is everybody there claims to be at least part Cherokee.
Of course they do.
Literally everybody. Like it gets down to where people are saying, "Yeah, I'm 1/128th Cherokee."
Mm-hmm.
I literally always remember
And-
this freaking. God, that's ridiculous. Okay, keep going.
Okay, and I think at that point, the best response to people who say that is, I'm 70% water. That don't make me the Pacific Ocean.
That's good. Yeah. Wow.
The thing that you remind me of, they were saying, it's like people coming, like, breaking down their, like, fractions of race, is there was, I don't know, I honestly only vaguely remember this movie. I watched it one time. It kind of reminds me of from shows on Adult Swim, but anyway, it was a Kids in the Hall production, and I know the devil was involved, but there was also this character who was, like, you didn't really know what his deal was, but he was, like, really overtly stereotypically, like, vague Indian. I don't remember what he was claiming to be, but, like, at the end of it, like, a bunch of, like, actual native actors who playing actual natives, like, showed up and they were talking about, it's kind of like, I don't remember what they were talking to him about, but he says, I have a confession to make, and I go, okay, well, what is it? I'm not 1/12 Native American. Okay, well, are you like 1/24th Native American? No, I'm not. Well, how, are you 1/48th Native American? He goes, no. Like, well, what is it? I'm not Native American.
What is with, like, what point are people trying to make when they're like, oh, by the way, I'm 128 this or that? Like, what's the point though? Like,
I have a right to be a little bit
Oh my
racist
goodness.
point. That point, God.
Yeah, it's they
I can say
use it
whatever
as
I
a-
want about Indians because I'm like a part Indian, right?
Yeah.
wow.
It's fine. I mean, I've never lived on a reservation. I'm not registered. I'm completely white passing, and I don't know anything about my culture. But I'm still like 127th Cherokee, so I can say whatever I want, right?
127th. At that point, that would be a very, very interesting amount of you, because that means on your, like, great-grandma's side, your great-grandma was native, but she wasn't, like, full native. Or, no, she was, but then you have somebody else who's probably also 1/128th. Your great-grandpa was also 128th. And you're going back that far to count that.
Don't analyze my made-up statistics.
So forget gender and sexuality. Let's talk some more about race.
Let's not.
Yeah, we're not really in a position. Most of us are not really in a position where we can talk about that. We should probably.
You'd have a guest series where, like, we
should
Yeah.
probably get somebody else on.
We have to reach out.
Yeah, so if anybody knows about race issues and would like to be on our podcast and talk with us and discuss stuff with us,
are literally begging you.
that would be really, really cool, because, you know, we're not in positions really where we can talk about this, and we would love to give you a platform to be able to share your views.
Yes, because it's definitely not a melting pot here. It's like the exact opposite of one.
We should lower the white ratio.
Yeah.
A little bit too. You need to be less than 95% white here.
Oh, you're like suggesting white genocide? Just like
Wow,
lower
that
the
escalated
population.
quickly, Romeo.
No,
Well, you
just
said
add
lower
more
the
to
white ratio. I'm like, forcibly? Or
Cosmo, we,
my foot's falling asleep.
Dang it.
It tickles. Okay, so I'm Cosmo. I don't care what you heard. Don't repeat that anywhere.
Don't hack into our servers.
So let's.
What do we want to talk about?
Okay, so we talked about, and we lightly glazed over some fetishism and the problems in the porn industry. If you want to bring that up later, Tracy, because I know we have an ongoing conversation about that.
Yes,
then we
do.
can. We covered some healthcare. May or may not have had some false information, but we moved on through police brutalization,
We have terrible
Military.
memories.
prison, Canadian healthcare. We talked about the authority with danger, minorities in danger. Made sure to clarify that we don't think that all police are bad. We were really careful to specify that. We talked about prison rape and bunnies. hopefully we don't ever have to bring that up again.
Ever.
No one ever talk
Please.
about that again. That's to be buried in the vaults.
We have to come up with more episodes. Oh man, that's hail. Fantastic.
It's beautiful, everyone.
Well, we have an excuse to not go outside now.
And
You're gonna have to stay here.
we talked about police officers stopping transgender women specifically. Now I have a new topic to bring up. Let's go a little light. Let's glaze on through gender presentations, expectations in general, and how they relate to identities. And also, I think it'd be nice if we brought up Layla Alcorn again and kind of reflected on our entire journey, not just us, like as a what we've talked so far, but also how far our society has come since her death, or at least since that era of time.
No,
So-
2014. It's just.
It's been a.
It doesn't
right?
seem like it's been that long, but
Yeah.
in December 2014, that's like. Are we going on 2 years now?
Yeah.
Jeez.
2 years, 3 years.
Anyway, so let's start off with gender presentation and how that relates to identities. And then we'll go from there into the expectations or what's expected of people.
We should probably start with anecdotes then.
Okay, gender presentation as it relates to gender identities. They're not the same thing. That's something that a lot of people seem to not understand, because I see that a lot, because I am very, very butch, and I am also a trans girl, and there are people who say that I'm not a trans girl because I'm butch, and that's not, like, presentation and identity are not the same thing.
Which is a novel concept, truly.
Ugh.
It's ridiculous
Like-
that we have to have that discussion with like people, but it's like I don't know. It feels so weird, like being in a largely trans community, like so especially as a social group, and then like talking to literally anyone else and like having to. When interesting, like, oh hey, like this is my friend, they use they them, and people like look at you like you're really like strange,
Well-
like. Oh wait, I forgot. Some people don't have basic understandings of non-binary genders.
And that's something that you really see because you're in a society where you use certain language and you talk to specific people who also have knowledge of that language, and you head out into society as a whole, and other people don't use that language. Like, I have a friend who cooks pizzas at Domino's and uses language that I don't understand because she cooks pizzas at Domino's. Like, legitimately, that is, like, she uses, like, I can't even remember what the terms are. It's, like very, very specific terms and slang that they use at Domino's. Like, and even on that level, but, like, also on a much greater level within the trans community, you have just ideas that people outside of the trans community don't understand because they don't. Number one, they're not educated on it, and number two, they don't bother to educate themselves on it for the most part.
Well, it's not something that affects them, which is, I
Yeah.
mean, not an excuse remotely. Believe me, cis people, we're looking at you when you say things that are ignorant, and we know, and we're not gonna forgive or forget until you actually correct it.
We're just waiting. To be honest, we're just waiting.
We're watching you until you correct yourself, and when you don't, we're very disappointed.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't know about LGBT, or at least I didn't know about specifics such as non-binary. I mean, I kind of had like this concept of it. I didn't know that it was as prevalent, and I thought that it was kind of like shunned. Well, I mean, I kind of knew that it was shunned by society, and which is something I want to get into about a bit later in the episode. But yeah, I had this idea about it, and then. I kind of really didn't know. I didn't talk to it about anyone. I didn't know that I could search for it on the internet. Like, I didn't know it was...
You can use Google, which is right there
like,
in your
I didn't
hand.
know that it was something that was talked about on the internet, really. And then, of course, I know my mistakes now. I'm like, anything is searchable on the internet.
It's always worth a shot.
Yeah, and I didn't start looking that stuff up until about 2 years ago, I think. No, about a year and a half, I would say. Yeah, about a year and a half. And, yeah, I got really into it. I mean, especially because I knew that we were going to do this podcast, but way before that, when I found out you were non-binary,
Yay.
and Jackie here was transgender. That was great. I mean, at first I was like, sweet, and then I was like, ooh, I should know some stuff. Like, I should, because I know people, and I care for people, and if more people were like that, or at least assumed, oh, wow, now I know someone, how about I do some respect, and, like, look it up or something, or you know, do some pretty preliminary research just to have a concept of something that's around you in the world without automatically going and playing the I'm ignorant and I'm scared of you card. Or, I don't know.
That card means nothing. That card does... Since people can play that card all they want, we're still like, yeah, huh? Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Cosmo, when you said that we were going to be talking about presentation today, I was thinking about this the other day because I was in a restaurant and that morning I had been on a bus and I had been hit on by some very grimy people who were clearly under the impression that I was a girl, and it was a very interesting morning, and I was all like, because first of all, I'm upset because I just got sexually harassed on a bus, but second of all, like, it's a bus, what are you gonna do? There's a camera on the thing. I'm getting off at the next stop and going to my school. Leave me alone. But, so I was all ticked off about, like, being misgendered as well, because, like, clearly, like, I'm not passing. Well, of course, I'm not passing either way because I'm non-binary. So you can't pass as non-binary because there's no way to be non-binary, and people don't understand that. Oh, it's complicated. Anyway, I'm all ticked off, and then later in the afternoon I go to get some sushi because I love sushi. And I'm sitting myself down in the restaurant, and I put my hair up in a ponytail because I was annoyed that it was getting in my face, and suddenly I'm approached by a waitress who says, "What can I get you, sir?" I'm like,
kind of unexpected.
what if I put my hair back down? What would you say? And I'm just thinking this. I'm like, me putting my hair up has changed, and I'm not wearing a binder. I'm wearing like a sweater, and like me telling me that my hair was the defining factor and it's bright purple for those who can't tell because this is an audio show. My hair is bright purple. I just scream gay either way.
It's quite lovely too. We wish you could see it.
Oh, thank you. So me having my hair up makes me from like being like lesbian.
It's because
it
looks like a man bun.
Yeah, it does kind of
it's
look
a
like a
man
man bun.
It's curly in the back right now.
It is right now. That's because it hasn't like not been curly in about 24 hours. Like. But yeah, so that's wild.
That's why I like promoting the idea that we need, as a society, to move towards heavier usage, at least, towards non-gendered pronouns and words in general.
Or just ask.
Yeah, but like if everyone started using non-gendered in the first place, then there would be less run into like really awkward situations until you were able to have a chance to ask or, stuff like that. Because, it's terrible. I mean, I don't want to say any names. One of my teachers taught us that we have to use his, her, because they is incorrect because it's plural and we're trying to talk. Yeah, so all of that.
I went off on my English teacher
Was this
about
the same
that.
year?
No, this was this year. This was
Okay.
This was like
Yeah.
this
I'm
was
pretty
like
sure I
3
picked
weeks
the other
ago.
teachers, but
This was like 3 weeks ago, and she gave up. She said, "Yep, you're right," and so that was nice. Well, in that case, it was
bully
just
you
because
into being inclusive.
no, in that case, it was mostly just because she just wasn't educated. Like she didn't know. Not that she wasn't educated. That was an improper way to say it. But like she wasn't educated on trans issues.
That's not
So-
even a transit. That's just a language issue. Like
Yeah, and the English language constantly evolves. You don't get to say, "Oh yeah, there's one proper way to say this, and that's always going to be the proper way," because English is not a language that is set in stone, nor is it a language where we have one specific set of rules or one governing body that determines the rules of the English language.
we also say things like chai tea and Sahara Desert.
Well, if it's not in the dictionary, obviously it can't be done.
Well,
That is.
Well, I mean, OMG is now in the dictionary, so.
Yeah, we fixed that. That particular
we're
issue
just
is
bad
cleared
at
up.
okay, going back to the chai tea and the Sahara Desert and the Gobi Desert and all the rest of those, we're just bad at naming things. I mean, look at Australia. They named it the Great Sandy Desert.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's pretty
same.
bad.
They just gave up.
Epic
Like
fail.
that's even English. Like I can understand. I can at least kind of understand going Gobi Desert or Sahara Desert or Swahili Coast, because that way you're defining it by saying something a little bit shorter, and we do that even with English words where we'll flower blossom.
Yeah.
Blossom literally, like flower literally means blossom.
Not anymore, though. It
Not
has evolved.
anymore. Yeah, it's changed. And so, like, I can understand saying chai tea when you mean masala chai. I hope I pronounced that. I probably used the wrong, like, emphasis in that word. But,
We'll find out later.
I'm white.
We just talk about not being able to play that card.
Yeah, I know. I'm giving that as an explanation for my stupidity. I'm not saying that it excuses it in any way. I'm saying that's an explanation for why I mispronounce things terribly. So please tell me how to actually pronounce words, because
That's what the comment section is for.
that is what the comment section is for. That and also terrible, terrible things.
We need to teach people how to use comment sections next.
What was that thing about, like, it was BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed, I think it was Decoded. They did their whole video about, like, social justice warrior training. And they were like, "Soldier, put this mask on. We're gonna go in this room, which will simulate the YouTube comment section."
I need to see that. Oh my
It's
goodness.
so good.
Is it new? Is it like a newer
Yes,
video?
it was like last week.
Oh, jeez, I need to see that.
This is how you use the YouTube comment section. Don't go there.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose.
It's a secret.
Don't use it. Don't look at it. Don't think about it. Don't post in it. Please, for the love of God.
Unless you are a YouTuber and you're scrolling down for a particular purpose,
If you ask
do not
people
scroll.
if you ask people to say things in the comments, you as the creator now have to look in the comments. That's-
We're
See,
willing
when
to
you're
look in the
obligated.
comments. We're willing to brave that. No, at least for now. If we ever do actually become popular,
Maybe
like
not.
if we
Maybe
ever
we'll
actually get more than like 3 people listening to us,
Yeah.
see. This will be quite the nostalgia phrase right there.
yeah, guys, I think we finally hit 20 subscribers.
Wow,
Wait, really?
That's pretty good.
that's more than my
Oh, no,
Pacific
not even
Northwest
really. Oh,
vlog.
God.
I think we might have by now. I don't know. Hopefully by the time this episode is released, at least.
Episode 9 coming soon to a theater near you. That would be pretty sweet, though. If we had our own theaters.
Well, YouTube Red has actually started making their own movies.
I know. I
Yeah,
saw
let's
that.
go on to YouTube.
Let's not. Good lord.
Anyways, back to gender presentation and expectations. Does anyone have any more anecdotes to share?
Oh, sorry, I'm looking up a video.
Okay. I don't think that I necessarily have any more anecdotes to share on gender presentation. Just that people don't really understand what gender presentation is, and I wish they would bother to learn.
Yeah, it takes an imaginative person to click on that search button. And it takes a willing mind to understand some things. But
To do the bare minimum.
I would also, I mean, I don't really have a story, but I had something I'd like to bring up, is that I remember in 8th grade, well, I mean, every grade where we had to read the rule book at the beginning of the year and sign it and all that stuff. Okay, so 8th grade, I was looking through the rule book, and I realized that there was a section about dress codes. And I went to the dress codes. You know, and I'm not the type of kid who necessarily enjoys reading that type of stuff, so don't stereotype me as that. I'm not. I just happened to be bored and I was looking through it. But what I came across, I thought about. So there's this section that says that cross-dressing is not allowed, and I'm sitting there, and for some reason I'm really upset over that. And I don't understand why at the time. Like, I don't understand why I'm so infuriated by this. But, like, I was like, cross-dressing's not allowed. And I'm like, so does that mean that someone can't just walk in to a school with a dress even if they're male? And then later, of course, years later, I'm starting to slowly come to the realization that it's messed up. No, scratch that. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up.
No, it is.
Yeah.
They did that. Was it? I think it was sophomore year.
Sophomore Halloween.
Sophomore year on Halloween. Okay. Sorry, my headphones that I'm currently wearing to be able to hear Kyle, who is not in the same room as us. I just realized that one of the cords is completely out of the headphones and is dead.
Yeah, don't pick at it though.
Okay. Anyway,
Please
moving on.
Please fund us. We need new equipment.
Moving on.
Please. God.
Anyway, moving on from that. So, sophomore year at Halloween, there's an announcement that comes on saying, oh, you're not allowed at this school, you're not allowed to cross-dress over Halloween. And so essentially what I do is I get online during lunch and I print out the Washington State RCW pertaining to gender expression and orientation. And I march up to the principal's office and I say essentially how bullshit that rule is and the fact that it is completely illegal. And they give me some sort of bullshit. Oh no, like we're saying like contrary to someone's gender identity, dressing contrary to someone's gender identity. We're trying to stop people from being transphobic, and it's like
oh, well,
bullshit.
allow me to just whip out my trans card
Yeah.
here. It verifies I'm in fact trans.
Yeah, having
and
those rules are transphobic in the roots.
Well, okay.
It's such bullshit. Like I kind of like I don't understand it in the slightest. But like we have had some issues at the school with people like the dudes who identify as dudes at the school dress up in stereotypically female clothing, like dresses. Number one, they look like because they don't.
they look like complete fools.
They look like
Idiots.
Because they're trying to be insulting. There's a difference between dressing in accordance with your gender presentation, cross-dressing, and being an asshole. And they were clearly only concerned about people who they were like thinking anyone who at this point who cross-dresses is being an asshole. But really, the only people that cross-dressing rules have ever really affected is trans feminine people who don't like who aren't seen as feminine. People who was like, oh well, you're a dude, but like if you're wearing anything feminine, now you're being targeted by that cross-dressing rule because really trans masculine people who aren't seen as being men don't get hit by that rule.
Right?
Because it's acceptable for
Right?
women to wear suits, but it's not acceptable for men to wear dresses, and that's just like a thing that everyone seems to think is some kind of law set in stone, and any variance upon
Yeah.
it is completely unreasonable.
Totally agreed. Yeah, high five noise.
Really quiet one, you don't want to cause a spike. But
Yeah.
Hypermasculinity is bull, and it really is a part of our society.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom about a month ago, I believe, and we had this nice big discussion about how I think that the whole concept of cross-dressing is harmful, not only to LGBT people, but our society in general.
Well, I think
Because, I mean, it's if you say cross-dressing,
not-
and that's the accepted term, that's giving the idea, that perpetuating the idea that dresses are only for women, and that it's like only a feminine thing, and if anyone does it, then you're doing something that's not allowed for your gender, or you're doing something that's gonna cause a lot of attention, and it's your own problem if you do it. It's such a terrible term because it's implying that you are somehow breaking your gender rules as if there were supposed to be rules in the first place. And I just want to say, first of all, people should be able to wear whatever the fuck they want. And then we wouldn't have this problem in the first place.
You have like some kind of like list of like declaration of cis bullshit. First, we state first and foremost that gendering of clothing is completely bullshit, and
Yeah.
we oppose it linearly.
Because the term cross-dress is harmful. I just,
Well-
like, if we were using it in a way to, like, keep people from either expressing themselves or just keep people from doing whatever the hell they want. I mean, because if a guy who was cis did want to wear a dress, I mean, he couldn't because either one, he's going to get, I don't know, beat up or something, or two, he's going to be seen as being rude. And there are those who are obviously doing it to be rude and disgusting.
You see, that falls under being a transphobe as a rule. Like,
Yeah.
being discriminatory and mocking people is something that's already against the rules. You don't need to go into the
Yeah.
rules and say no cross-dressing, because if someone is dressing as the other gender to make fun of that person's gender, then that's already you got that covered. We got it's in the book already. We're good. We're fine.
Yeah.
Cross-dressing rules only affect trans people.
Yeah.
And gender variant people. There's no one else.
And
I've never seen it used effectively.
this, if you, let's say that Tracy and I walked up to the school with dresses on, and then we would get in trouble not only from the school, but the rest of our peers would be like, okay, first of all, you're assholes, and second of all, like Jackie said, you look like shit. And then the thing is
no,
that
you could do it well.
I
like
wish.
if y'all bothered to learn, y'all could do it well. But for the most part, cis men just don't.
Well, cis men can actually, really, honestly, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
But
the stigmas.
that's why I'm saying for the most part. For the most part, they don't bother to learn how to like properly wear a dress or how to properly put on makeup.
these are just more cultural norms, honestly. And anyway, so long as we're talking about cis men, drag culture is by itself it a completely separate thing.
Yeah.
Because drag cultures existed like for a long time, and there is again a difference between being transgender, cross-dressing, drag, and being an asshole. These are separate things, because drag is a performance, and it is its own culture, and it can be insulting, and it can not be insulting, and it can be done by trans people, and it can be done by cis people, and it can be done by gender variant people. It just depends on whether or not you want to apply that label. We have accepted drag as being a thing that people do for a long time, and it's very different than like presenting, like being like, well, okay, so if I wanted to sit down and like put on makeup and put on a dress and do my hair, and it's sitting down and doing your makeup and putting on a dress and doing your hair for drag is completely different. It's a completely different process. It's a lot heavier. It's a lot more performance based. There's a lot of singing involved.
They're singing.
It's a separate culture. And it's not that it doesn't overlap with trans culture and gender variant culture, it's just very separate.
Okay, if I can kind of interject here, this is a little bit off topic, but this is one of the things that I've been seeing in class recently, is when you have people, at least the people who I talk to, who end up saying, no, gender, like, I don't understand transgender people because, like, gender is performative. Like, if it's a cis person who is saying that gender is performative, they are almost always saying it in order to be transphobic. Like, they're never saying it because, like, they legitimately believe that gender is a performative thing.
Yeah.
They're always saying it because, like, well, you know, I don't understand trans people and I don't like trans people, so I'm going to come up with some bullshit, fake scientific reason as to why transgender people shouldn't exist.
What was that piece of artwork that was circulating around that was like the translator? That was it? Translates to sexist bullshit. I wanted to find the person who made that piece of artwork so badly.
I saw
and just
that.
high five them. It looked so good. I was like, I have experienced virtually everything on this list.
Yep. I've seen that. I'm surprised you saw that too. I didn't know it was that like circulating, but yeah.
We should put that on our blog.
We should.
to it.
Shout out to the person who made that. You're getting a link today.
Yay! Celebration. But seriously, Jackie, do they talk like that too? Because I can totally see that. That's a good impression.
Oh, I had somebody in my class who was, you know, there were a couple of people in my class who were willing to learn about trans stuff, and now I'm not out at school, so you know, whenever I talk about trans people and stuff, I'm always like, so my trans friend.
That's good, I guess, if you're staying in the dark. I'm surprised.
So I have this friend who is trans, and she.
Wait, do you talk like that too when you're talking?
Because I have to drop my voice.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, now I don't actually have any friends who are trans girls because I don't know any trans girls because there really aren't any in this town.
Yeah, for some reason, there's a large amount
There's
like
non-binary
people.
There's a massive amount of non-binary people. There are a couple of trans men, and there are just no trans girls.
I wonder if they might be hiding though, because
like you
True. Like,
Yeah.
none that we last
They're
day
no
of school,
out.
background to sign like, hey, yo, was I going to school with any trans women that I didn't know about? hey, yo, you over there? Were you trans? No? Okay, never mind.
are. Oh my goodness. Like in the yearbook, there's like little stickers, so you peel up the picture and it says
Surprise was
check.
trans the whole
Yeah.
time. You know?
That'd be an interesting quote.
I was trying to see if I could get my senior quote to be something to do with trans stuff, but I can't find one that's worth it. It's one of the things that I found is most of the adults that I know who are queer are librarians. Like that just seems to be like the stereotypically queer job is just being a librarian.
Well,
No
you're
offense
not
to
going to believe
librarians
this.
who are trying to refute that.
No offense to cishet librarians.
Yep.
You're in a minority.
Oh god.
I have this friend.
Okay.
So she lives in Canada, and she's been going to librarian school. And I found this out after being because her mom introduced us because she was like, I know another non-binary person, my child. And I was like, okay. So we became internet buddies and met up one time and she was like, oh yeah, well I've been going to librarian school for a year and a half and have this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, nah. You're gonna be a librarian? She's like, oh yeah. I've been trying to be a librarian for 4 years. I'm like, what? Why are all non-binary people I know tend to become librarians? Lesbians I know tend to become librarians.
For the stereotypically gay job, it's hairdresser, but
Hairdresser,
stereotypically
librarian,
lesbian
makeup
and
artist,
just other queer
clothes
job.
designer.
Stereotypically just queer job in general is librarian.
You're an accountant. Everyone's like, what are you about? No one knows what accountants are about. They're just accountants. Their lives are numbers. What's in your pants? Calculus.
Oh yeah, I wanted to mention. So if you're willing to talk about what happened with your blog, we would be happy to hear that.
Oh yeah. Actually, it's back up now.
It is.
Yes.
Oh.
It was only offline for about a month.
Okay. I'm so happy because I
yeah.
finally got on there. I was like, what has happened?
Oh yeah,
No.
it was gone.
But I like the little sleepy pyramid that they put there.
Yeah, sleepy pyramid.
That was cute.
The automatic. Meredith Vickers is still saved under a little pyramid too. I deleted due to some like stuff and remade because I archived a bunch of stuff. It's not any of my not most of it's original content. I don't have any reblogged content that I had saved. Anything that's saved is listed under archive, but I am back up at the Klaus Effect at tumblr.com, and I'm glad to be there, everyone. I've also got some other blogs you might want to follow too. Hint, hint. Please give me more traffic.
You want us to put them in the show notes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so check them show notes, y'all.
I promise
Scratch that.
I make good content.
Just check the show notes. No, y'all. Just do it.
Oh, y'all.
Just do it.
Anti-Nike, though. You know what? Just look in the show
We're
notes for
endorsing
some great
Shia
stuff.
LaBeouf, not Nike. Just Shia LaBeouf.
I'm sorry, but everything I say has been trademarked and copyrighted.
They have like some kind of common use.
Right?
Somewhere, we'll find it.
I can't say anything now without it somehow supporting some corporation.
We can't react TM copyright fine bros.
Right? Oh gosh, that's so sad to think about. We live in a really strange world.
That was quite the week that was going on.
One of the I don't know if this was necessarily a thing that was one of the reasons why you ended up leaving Tumblr, but around that time there was a huge blow up just within the queer community of a lot of people being very, very acephobic and saying, oh, asexual people don't exist or asexual people aren't queer. But then like they'd turn around and like me, I'm homoromantic asexual, and they'd include me as part of the queer community. Well, I mean, obviously because I'm trans as well, but you know, because of the being homoromantic, and it's like, okay, so you don't actually believe that I'm ace. Like you don't actually believe that I'm queer. You're just saying this because you view me as gay. Pisses me off.
Oh, it's God, it's such a it's just weird. It's a weird particular like instance of discourse that just keeps happening, and it seems totally exhausting to me just on the basis of like, well, it's not like there aren't like heteromantic asexual people or aromantic heterosexual people. I don't know if I can't remember what I'm saying.
Aromantic
asexual people
are also
I'm going through this whole list of people that like, people are getting excluded from here. Like saying that there aren't people who fit under these categories who do need support from people who aren't cisgender, heterosexual, heteromantic. Like, you don't need the kind of support that queer people do. Like, every other kind of queer person in the entire planet needs. Are you serious? Come on.
Oh, and the people who, like, there are people who say, oh, all you have to do is just, like, not tell people that you're ace and they won't do stuff. And it's like,
That
you
works for
realize
every
what you're
other
saying.
identity, too.
You realize what you're saying. Like, if you were to hide that you were gay, or if you were to, like, just completely not be out as trans, you'd experience the same stuff. It's just not fun. It's not something that you really want to do. Anyway.
Okay, we have this conversation like every single episode.
Yeah. So I think the message is clear.
Gotta
Asexual
reiterate.
people exist, and so do aromantic people, and all the combinations, and you need to respect them and realize that they need support. Just, gosh, people, stop being ignorant. We're gonna beat it into your head.
Don't be
Or at least
jerks.
Jackie can
Don't
do it
be
with her
jerks. Don't be jerks.
So don't worry, we're here to help you.
My partner will help, like, kick your guys' butts. It'll be great. He'll find something to hit you with.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Are you staying afloat so far? There aren't any lifeguards here, so let us know if you're drowning. Cosmo Cavanaugh, Jackie Beaudoin, Kyle Mitchell, Tracy Metcalf, and our featured guest, Klaus McHendry, are sick and tired of working on this series. We are done with it. Just kidding. We're approaching a time for celebration due to how much we finished. And no, we can't supply you with snacks. You'll have to get your own cake. We have covered so much already, but if there's anything we have missed, please let us know. Send your questions, comments, or contributions to geometricoctopus@gmail.com, as well as your own stories along the lines of this topic. That was a fantastic swim through some awkward waters, and we hope you join us later for more of them. Thanks for listening.